We live.
Bye, son. Bye. Love you. We live? Are we live right now? Oh, we are. Bye, son. Love you.
You need me on no.
Get off my phone. Bye.
Hey, Kari. We back, y'all. We back.
We back.
And we got some bloopers for y'all.
Oh, boy.
We got some bloopers for y'all. We back with the bloopers. Listen, we appreciate you all's patience.
Thank you.
Every now and then, you know, the technical issues just be doing what the technical issues be doing. You know,
Whoopsie.
We just roll with it. We laugh about it. We make the best of it. Marcus gets all flustered, and I'm just like, what can we do?
What can we do?
What can we do? What can we do? He does a great job. So
does.
You know, we just clap it up for you, babe. Thanks for all that you do. We love you. We appreciate you. It's okay. It's okay. This is what happens sometimes. It's what happens. All right. So let's get back to our topic at hand. We're just going to start fresh, right?
Yeah.
We're going to start this thing over. So I am Kia McLean, the poet, and that is
Shamika Arnold, the dart therapist.
Hey, the dart therapist. And hey.
I'm in my office today, guys. I'm in my office today.
She's in her office doing her therapy work. Hey. All right, y'all. So what is today's topic? Today's topic is defining your challenges. And if you define your challenges, you can probably get to a space where you will have healthier relationships, friendships, and beyond. Why is this important? Because sometimes our challenges get in the way of us reaching spaces that we really want to get to because we are focused on the challenges and the obstacles that come up. And that's going to always be a thing, right? We're going to always have obstacles. We're going to always have challenges. I think it's important to look at the patterns in your life and see what challenges you struggle with. Hey, Floyd, we sound okay now? What we sound like now, Floyd? Rocking and rolling. If you start to look at the patterns that you are faced with as it pertains to challenges, then you'll do one of the things that I constantly talk about, which is journaling.
Yes.
Thank you, Floyd. We appreciate you. So you'll start to journal. I suggest that you don't have to, but I suggest that you use journaling as a tool to be able to see what challenges keep coming up for you. So the things that keep coming up that you're struggling with, those might be some challenges. And then what I suggest, and we're going to hear what Shamika suggests, is I suggest you chipping away at one individual thing at a time instead of trying to say, I have 5 challenges and I'm going to go in and try to figure out all of these challenges. I don't recommend that, but I don't know. Shamika might have a different answer.
You got the timer on. I definitely agree. I definitely agree, but it would be funny. It's sometimes funny because sometimes that one challenge could help with this other challenge, right? It might be a list of things, but maybe that one major one could help with all the rest. But
so what's the recommendation for that when they start journaling and seeing those challenges?
When you journal, because like you had mentioned, you said like journaling, you start seeing it. You start seeing the patterns. And just looking back, and even during a journaling, just looking back on past relationships. The initial relationship is the family relationship, your parental relationships, and how healthy or unhealthy those were. You know. And so starting there, and then, sometimes identifying, even if you have healthy relationships with your family now, through those, working through those might help you get through the other challenges with other relationships.
Yeah. Hey, Don, good evening.
Hello, hello, hello.
That's our other co-host in the building. So I think that what you just said is important in terms of like when you start to write out what challenges you have, if you're using the journaling method
Mm-hmm.
and you're going back and you're assessing those things, go back to the thing that comes up the most, the thing that kind of triggers you the most, and then kind of start to chip away at those challenges.
Right.
And then I say, like, create a plan for how you're going to do that. Like, knowing that you have, I think one of the things that helped me to raise my awareness is having people around me that would hold me accountable
Mm-hmm.
and not lie to me and not agree with my behavior.
Right.
And so it's important that you even assess the people that you're around. If
Right.
everybody you're around is agreeing with you 100% of the time, it may be an opportunity to assess to see, okay, why is everybody agreeing with me? Because we all have room for growth, right?
Right.
And I'm not saying listen to everybody, of
Right.
course,
Right.
but know who those trusted people are that you can rely on that are going to pour into you and
Yes.
give you some enlightenment on some things. In fact, one of the things that I do with both of my best friends is I'll say to them, how do you think I'm doing?
Hmm.
How do you think I'm doing? Like, how is our communication? Do you feel heard when we're talking? Do you feel like I abandon
I
ship
like
when we're talking?
I like
Like,
that.
what can I do better to support you? So I check in with my best friends that way to like make sure, like, okay, do you feel like I'm available to you when you need me? Do you feel like we need to set up a time to have happy hour? Like, one, me and my best friend Tanya, we would do Zoom happy hours together because both of my besties are not in Dallas.
Right.
And so, we would have these Zoom setups and I would ask them questions so that I could be sure that people who are looking at me, because it's one thing to look at yourself, but that
Mm.
the people are who are looking at me, who are
Right.
talking to me the most, who are having the most interactions with me, how do they see me? How am I showing up for them? And
Right.
so sometimes we think we're perfect,
Mm.
we're without flaws, and
Mm.
we don't have issues. And that could be to your detriment.
Right.
There are people who I talk to who I know I can't correct them because they're not going to receive that, right?
Right.
But be around people and also be sure that you're open.
Right.
Be open to the feedback. Be open to growing. Be open to nurturing yourself more so that you can handle those challenges.
Right. I remember. I remember when identifying challenges. Right. I
Hmm.
realized because I used to sing for the choir. I was telling my clients this. I was singing for the choir at church, and I remember there's this one guy, and he used to want all the attention. Right. He used to want to do all this, just be a center of attention. And I was like, oh, he get on my nerves. Oh, he get on my nerves. Right. And one day I said, why does he get on my nerves so bad? Because I'm attention seeking. I can be attention seeking. And so that's something in me I don't like. And so I didn't like seeing it in him.
Hmm.
So that's how I was able to see, like, oh. And
That
then
is so true.
I was able to be more patient with him after that because I was like, okay, it's because I saw some of me that I didn't like parts of me in him.
Hmm. Yeah, and as my cousin that's a therapist, my therapist said that to me
Mm.
about me telling her about how I was getting annoyed with certain things about people, and it's like she said it's not always indicative of those are traits that you have,
Right.
but it can also be a thing where um you have intolerance. You just have intolerance that you need to work on. And so
Mm.
you need to work on being more tolerant and understanding that people are different and people do things and handle things differently. And I still am challenged by that. That is still one of my that is a defined challenge for me.
Right. Right.
I can openly admit that. Like I do. I'd be like, why did they do that? Why did they behave that way? Like, what are we doing? Like, I struggle with that. That is definitely one of my biggest challenges. I am not as open to seeing things in another way. Sometimes I can be black and white, and there's no in between with me. Like,
Right.
don't look for gray with me because it's just not going to be there. So a lot of times, what I'm trying to work on is my flexibility.
Right.
Because when I did kind of surrender a little bit to that, I went too far, and I was just letting too many things in and too many people in.
Right.
And so now I've switched to the total opposite. Like, no, you ain't getting in. Closed.
Blocked.
And yeah, so that is admittedly one of the challenges that I'm trying to work through, and by having a good balance with that.
Right.
Because again, I know that is a struggle for me. I think it's important to, I talked about making a plan, make a plan so that you don't have to be trying to be all over the place, right? Like, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Write the plan down and then follow the plan, right? Yeah, Lonnie, like that is definitely a challenge that, I completely just shut down, shut out, I'm done. And so I realize that I do have to have some flexibility. Even as I work through this challenge, I know my personality is not going to let me do full steam ahead with that, but at least it's something that I recognize and I'm working through.
Right.
And will continue to work through.
Right.
I think asking for help is a big deal, right? I think when you are faced with challenges, sometimes we deal with the shame. Sometimes we deal with the guilt.
Embarrassment too.
So it's okay to ask for help. And this is coming from somebody that never asked for help, okay? Another challenge. Y'all gonna know all my business by the time we done with this live. Come on, San, run out.
Right. Hurry up.
I tell all my business tonight, all my challenges. Y'all gonna be like, she got this challenge, she got that challenge.
We all have them.
We all have them, right? But I think asking for help, whether you ask for help by getting a therapist, whether you ask for help from a friend, whether you ask for help from a trusted family member, no matter what.
Yes.
Whoever it is, I think be with people and be in spaces that provide that for you. Right?
Yes.
Be in spaces where people are open to providing that assistance, by providing that support to you. If people are only talking about themselves in every conversation and they're so focused on me, and they're not good listeners, that might not be the person that you go to for support. And then what happens sometimes is we'll say, well, I don't have anybody to listen to me. You went to the wrong person. You know they don't listen.
But look what one Facebook user, who I can't see who they are. I hate asking for help. I fear that it will bite me later. But how will it bite you later if you're in a vulnerable space? Like, if that's something you're working on, how can it bite you later? Like, if you're saying, if somebody says, well, remember when you said that? And you say, yeah, I was struggling with that. Thank you for listening when I was struggling with that. I'm working on that now. Like, how can it bite you if the purpose of going to ask for help is to change the behavior?
And that's good, but I get that. I get what Lonnie's saying with that.
But I'm trying to read I'm trying to see if you can see
what you're doing, and that's good. And even when you said it, I was just like, but I want to say, now why the hell you bringing that up?
Right.
But I can't do that. Thank you for giving me a healthier way.
And then that'll let you know too. But that'll also let you know, okay, then next time I know not to come to you. And then here's the thing too. But I have some people will be like, why you throw it in my face? But it wasn't thrown like, so say if you tell me like Shamika, like, so say if Kia tells me like, Shamika, I've been this is hypothetical. I'm just trying to create another scenario that I've seen before. Okay, so let's say Kia comes to me and says, okay, look, I've been cheating on Marcus, right? I've been cheating on Marcus, and the guy lived next door, right? And then she comes back and says, I don't know why Marcus can't I don't know why Marcus can't trust me. I don't know why he can't trust me. Like, he been. And I'll be like, but Kia, but remember you said you was cheating on him. And you be like, why you throw it back in my face? Like,
yeah.
That's not throwing that back in your face. That's reminding you to take accountability.
Yeah. But all of those scenarios don't sound the way you just made it sound, right? So
No.
you said it in the healthy Shamika therapist loving way, right? But what I know what Lonnie talking about, the person that be like, see, right? But that goes back to what I said earlier about knowing who to share those things with, and knowing like this just might be the person that I need to share that with. Because one time you do that to me, I think what my challenge has been is if you do that to me, I don't ever share it with anybody else.
Yeah.
Like, everybody else gets punished for what that one or two people may have done.
And
so yes.
And they not getting punished. You punishing yourself in essence, you know.
Okay, Bree said
it's taking me a
while. Not just listen to respond.
Man, I still got to practice that. Oh, I still got to practice that because I'm learning reflective listening. I'm learning to reflective listening. And in order to reflective listen, you have to be present in what the person's saying and not think of a comeback, right? I still have to learn that, Brie. You are not alone. You are not alone. Okay. And I teach my clients because when I do use it, oh my gosh, it's the best thing ever.
Yeah.
Use it, reflective listening, and reflective listening is just repeating back what somebody says. So sometimes I do it too to be facetious. I ain't gonna even lie. I'll be like, somebody say something, and I'll be like, so what you telling me is, this is how you want me to behave or whatever. You know, people like, you need to stop saying thank you so much. So what you telling me is to not say thank you because it bothers you. Oh, and that's interesting.
You're working through that challenge, right?
Look how healthy it sounded. Listen how healthy it sounded right there in that moment. But I'll be like, who are you talking to? Like, I don't know. I'm in
Gotta throw a little petty in there. I know I
definitely agree, Brie. You are, yes. So I definitely have to practice that. And in my head, you don't have to do too. In my head, I have to be like, okay, listen to what they're saying.
So
listen to what they're saying. Pull back. I have to like tell myself that in my head and then be like, okay, so I need to understand what you're saying. I'm going to repeat what you said because then they get mad. Like, why you keep saying what I said?
So that's the point I was just about to make. So there's the reflective listening where I'm like, I understand this to be. And then there's active listening where I'm literally doing nothing but listening. I am actively listening. I am not listening to respond. I am not listening to make my point. I am not listening to show you that I am right.
I'm listening to
keep listening. I just want to hear.
I want to hear what you're saying.
Speak. I don't need to rebut. I don't need to do any of that. I need to give you the opportunity to speak and say what you need to say.
Right.
I shared this with the group. I think it was earlier this week or maybe last week at this point. I don't remember. But I shared the fact, here comes another challenge, that Marcus and I had a disagreement last week, right? But it started, this is how the disagreement started. It started with me accusing him of something that he didn't do, right? I thought he misplaced something. So I'm going in. You place, mom, such and such. I can't find it. I know where it is. Da, 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 da. You moved it. He's like, I didn't move it, but I'm going to look for it.
Oh.
So he gets home from work. He gets to searching, right? He finds it where I put it.
Hilarious.
Okay, where I put it. Then I had the audacity
to
complain. I'm talking to my girl earlier on the phone, and I'm like, yeah, I can't even mail your stuff out because Marcus to move my journals, and I'm going in. So when he finds the journals, I'm like, my bad, babe. I'm sorry. His response was, it's okay, baby. That was it. Right? Go on and convict me, because you saying that is a slap across my face.
So beautiful.
I had a whole red face.
He did. He did it real good, too. Real good and smooth like. He did it real good and smooth like.
Mm-hmm. But check this out.
But that's who he is, though, too.
That's who he is, right? Mm-hmm. So a couple of hours later, same day, he did something to tick me off. He was wrong. He admitted he was wrong. He apologized for being wrong. He tried to gaslight me a little bit before he apologized, but nevertheless, he apologized, right? He apologized. You know what I did?
What you do?
You ain't sorry enough. And I just kept going.
Did you keep? Not you.
Oh, I kept going. So look, I know Marcus so well. He's just like, I just want to make it right. I'm sorry. Can we move on? Right? Yeah. The gaslighting, right? And look, I got a TikTok video out there that I used to be a gaslighter, so I know about gaslighting.
Right.
I know about that. So and I still sometimes can be one. That's still something I'm working through. So, but anyway, I'm sitting there like this. The Taurus, the bull, stubborn thing is true. I'm like a rock. I'm like a rock. And he's just like, again. Like, so we in the bed, right? So when I lay down, I'm like, okay, I'm about to go to sleep. But I'm starting to get convicted because I can't be like that with him.
Yeah.
I just cannot be like that. So the next morning we get up. I said, babe, I'm sorry. You know, when I apologized to you, you immediately forgave me and we moved past it. But when to your apology, I couldn't just accept it. I had to go on and on and on about it. And you didn't need to be berated about it. You didn't need me to go on and on. You recognized that you had did something wrong. You apologized, and we should have been able to move on, right? But my point is, sometimes we create situations that become
10.
Right?
And right.
And I think that's one of the things, and I've shared at this point 3-4 challenges with y'all tonight, okay? So as you see, I am continuing to work through my stuff. I am not perfect. I don't represent myself as that way. I share things with you all in a vulnerable and transparent way because I think many of us have some challenges, and rather than work on the challenges, we try to suffocate it like it's going to go away. It's going to still come pushing itself up out of there. And that's okay. It's okay. Society has created this thing, and we talk about some societal pressures a lot on here because society has created this pressure for us to be perfect, for us to just show up with it all together all the time, right? With the glamour and the glitz and the look and the, it's not all perfect. Marcus and I have a wonderful relationship, but I just shared with you all something that, your business, but it is your business because that is something that somebody can learn from. It was a challenge, but here's the thing. I allowed my ego to sit its ass down. The ego took over the night before. And then I was like, no, you got to go sit down because I need to make amends and I need to truly apologize But then I got to take it a step further. There has to be change behavior.
Right.
Right? I can't just keep, if this was an issue that we had every day, it's no longer a challenge. It's a way of life.
Right.
I did it, Floyd. I did it.
It was her.
It was me.
She said it.
It was your sister friend. It was me. I did it. I ain't gonna lie to you. I did it. But like I said, the great thing about it is, and even in that moment, when I woke up, I dealt with shame. I dealt with embarrassment for behaving that way. Because that's not our norm. Usually, if he says, I'm sorry, he's quickly forgiven. But that particular night, I was all in my ego. And I recognized it. I wrote about it in my journal. And the funnier part is the next morning when I'm listening to my meditation, the title of the meditation was Wrongdoing.
Hilarious.
Universe is like, even more.
You're going to hear this.
So the same way that I berated him and got on him, I felt that same sense of, you're going to take this, you're going to listen to this, Kia, right? And so be careful about that, because karma don't play, and sometimes it's in a hurry to do it. So karma was in a hurry to get me like, see, this is what you won't be doing, Kia. You won't be doing this. You won't be doing this one.
Right. Yes.
Feel what you feel.
Right.
When you have challenges, feel what you feel. Like, it's okay. Again, what did we just talk about? The shame, the embarrassment, being overwhelmed by the bad choice or bad decision, saying things that you can't bring back. All of that can play a part. And so feel what you need to feel, though.
Right.
Well in it.
Change behavior. Change the behavior.
Change the behavior.
I was thinking when you said too earlier, when you were like, when Bree was saying to listen, to respond, and you were saying, you know, sometimes it's like we're trying to respond because we're defending, right? And sometimes when we're defending because we're not really listening, we're defending, and I think I've said this before, like, it's like you don't ever have to so if somebody says, you old therapist, what am I going to defend? Because it's true. But if somebody's like, so if somebody says something and I defend it, wait, did I say this wrong? Where it's like sometimes if we're defending it, it's like we believe there's some truth in it. When we're saying, no, that's not what I am. Nuh-uh. That's not what I'm, because I've been told, like, okay, certain things I've been told, and I'm like, that ain't me. That ain't none of me. But then I'd be like, no, that's me. That's me. That's me. I have to think about it later. Like, no, that's me. That's exactly, because then I felt like I was defending, and I was, it was a video that said that too. If, like, I don't have to ever tell you, like, you know, I don't have to tell you what you are, but if I have to I don't ever have to defend that I'm something for real, you know. But if I have to feel like I'm defended, then there's some truth that I believe what you're saying is, there's some truth about it, you know. Am I saying that wrong? I think I'm saying it wrong. If you tell me I'm a dog, right? If you say you're a dog, and I'll be like, what is there to defend? Because I already know I'm not. That's what it is.
Yeah.
What is there to defend? Because I know I'm not. I have to defend that I'm not a dog, right? I'm a human, right? So if somebody tells me something like, okay, you know, whatever, you know, whatever, like I wasn't paying attention. I sometimes don't pay attention. So, but I'm defending like, I was paying attention. I did. I heard what you said, but I wasn't paying attention. I was paying attention as you said. You was getting on my nerves, right? But taking responsibility for that. And so again, that being a challenge for me is sometimes I don't listen because I do want to respond or defend instead of sitting there saying, okay, wait a minute, is there some truth in this, because I'm trying to defend it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
which takes me to the next point that I had, which was receive feedback. When you receive feedback, you don't take it personal, right? If you need to ask clarifying questions, you can do that if that's what you feel like you need to do. Or you can do this thing that I call fish and throw the bones away. You might say a mouthful of things. I may find that the first mouthful of things you said was applicable to me. But I might find the things that you said on the end are not applicable to me. So what did I do? I let it go.
Right.
Received the first half of what you said
Right.
because that was beneficial to me and I received it. I understand what you're saying. That makes sense to me. That relates to me.
Right.
Then on the end, though, you said some things that no, that ain't who I am. So I don't need to. We don't need to discuss it. I don't need to go back and forth with
Right.
you. I don't
And,
need to prove my point. We don't even need to discuss it.
right.
I accepted and received all of what you said.
Mhm.
On the backside, taking in the front part of what you said, releasing the ending.
Yeah.
You don't need to know that, and it doesn't need to be a discussion.
Mhm.
It is what it is, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes we're not willing to be open to people even challenging us.
Right. Right.
I want people that stretch me. I
Right.
want people to challenge me. I want people to ask questions. Okay, Kia, well, why are you doing it like this? Well,
Mhm.
why does this mean that much to you? You know, sometimes people are helping you to redirect your focus and your
Right.
energy,
Right.
right? I know that I get that a lot of times when I share things with my close people, and they'll say, okay, let's redirect that energy.
Mhm.
It is what it is. Like, that's what they did. That's what they did. It's not a
Right.
big deal. That has nothing to do with you.
Right.
Let them deal with that, right?
Right.
So,
Right.
getting that redirection, and it's not that they don't support me, it's not that
Right.
they don't listen, it's not that they're not understanding, but they want me to be in a healthy, energetic space. And
Right.
so that's what happens.
Right. I know. I remember. Just and while you were talking, I was remembering. See, again, I heard you though. You said that they just want you to be in a better energetic space. See, that's
Mhm.
reflective, isn't it? Um, I just remember, feeling also in relationships, feeling like I had to defend how good of a person I was to show them, like I like it was weird, like it was weird, but it was me trying to show and prove who I was, right? Even though they weren't,
Oh,
they said they were. I was the one. Look at what I've done for you. Look at all the things I've done for you. Look at how good a person I am, and look at how what. And it's like they wasn't. That's not really what they wanted, right?
yeah.
And it wasn't okay for me to do that because I don't have to prove that because I'm showing it as I'm doing it too, you know. And it was me, and I would get so frustrated trying to prove to them, look at me, look what I've done, look at how good, look how good I
Mhm.
am to you.
Mhm.
Yeah, that wasn't okay.
So funny that you say that. I just had a conversation with a friend earlier, but it wasn't about relationships. It was about trying to connect with other women and how I knew that I would come across women that didn't like me, and I would just be like, but why? Like, why wouldn't you like me? I'm so cool, right? So, one of the things that would happen is I would go against what I felt to be true and be like, but no, I'm gonna keep trying to convince them. I'm gonna keep trying
Yeah,
to show them. I'm gonna keep trying to, and all that energy and everything that I was putting into that, I should have been putting into myself.
right. Yes.
And
Yes.
and I had to learn that, like,
Yes.
no, don't put energy into people that don't even like you because you're
Right.
wasting your time.
Right.
Put the energy into yourself.
Right.
Understand what it's going to take for you to not care about people not liking you. Their
Right.
loss, keep it moving,
Right.
right? And so trying to chase down
Mm-hmm.
people and getting a response that you want to get, and really it's not even, if you think about it, what's the benefit of getting somebody that doesn't like you to like you?
Anyway.
Make it
Right.
make sense.
Right. Right. Yes.
This is the benefit of journaling, y'all. I mean, honestly, it goes back to that because how could I identify my behavior if I wasn't journaling?
Right.
Because if you think about it, think about how your brain has so many thoughts that go through it.
Man.
constantly. It's just racing through.
Yes.
So now there's no reflective moments about what's happened because that's escaped you. It's gone. That's out the window. But when you can go back and read your journal and say, all right,
you're like, what?
10 days, when I go over here, this is how I feel. When I talk to these people, this is how I feel. Okay, is it me? Is it something I'm doing? So you're writing through those moments and you're like, well, it's not me. These people don't like me. My body said, man, I walked in there and I immediately got a headache. My stomach started to hurt. I felt heartburn. I felt overwhelmed. Your body, and I would write about all of these types of things. So it's important also to be detailed as you can so that you can go back and reference, okay, what are the points?
Right.
What are the points? And then focus there.
Yep. Yeah.
So, know that the recognition of challenges is the first step to change. And we kind of just talked about that. Know that just recognizing your challenges is you accepting it and then you becoming aware of it so that you can say, okay, I got challenges.
Right.
That's all right. I'm still Superwoman. I'm still Superman. I still got it together.
It doesn't make you less than.
Doesn't make you less than. Challenges are a part of life. And the seasons of the challenges is another component of it because we're going to have seasons, different seasons where we're going to have different challenges.
Right.
This season might be, okay, I'm challenged with some finances. This season might be, I'm challenged with my kids. This season might be, me and my spouse, we challenged during this season. We having the 7-year itch. This season could be, you know what? I'm not connected. I don't feel connected to my friends anymore. I feel like I'm growing apart from everybody. So every season is going to be a different set of challenges. Right. In order for you to readily be able to identify those things so that you can start to work on them, because the longer you're facing those challenges, the longer it can sometimes take to overcome them.
Right.
So that's why just keep going back and checking in with yourself. Keep going back and checking in with yourself. Just constantly. I need to check in with myself. How am I feeling?
Yep.
What's going on?
Yep.
Do the check-in like you can do a check-in like I do with my besties. Hey, how y'all think I'm doing? Have you seen a change in my attitude? Do you feel like I'm kind of snappy? So it's funny because I've been documenting this. And I was telling one of them today, I said, I felt exhausted the last 3 weeks. When I say exhausted, I mean mentally, emotionally, physically, I have felt exhausted. Yeah. And so now what I have done is I've just gone through different things in my body. Okay, could it be this? Could it be that? What am I eating? What is my exercise regimen like? What is this like? So I'm going now. I can go through that because I'm paying attention and I'm writing about it. If not, people will go 3 months with some type of symptoms and never check in on themselves.
And we overthink so often that we, like you said, by the end of the day, sometimes we be like, look up and be like, dang, what did I do today? Because we just go. We just, again, autopilot. That autopilot. Go, 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 go. And that journaling is when you take the time and sit down and be present with yourself. Like, what did happen today? What did I do today? How did I feel when I was in this space? How did I feel when I talked to this person? And checking in at the end of the night. And then, and I also suggest doing a gratitude in the morning when you wake up. What are you grateful for? So that way it can kind of shift the trajectory of your day.
Yeah.
But definitely, and then and I always say look at the relationships you have in your life. Are they encouraging? Are they healthy? Do they make you feel good? Do they make you feel bad about yourself? And that's relationships, partnerships, whatever ships that you have. How do they do they empower you? Do they help you grow? Are you saying empowering things and helping people grow? Are you speaking encouragement to other people? Are you continuously shitting on people, or are you loving people with your words, or are you hurting them? Life and death is in the power of the tongue. And
and you what?
Forgot the rest of that scripture. I'm not going to
Yeah, no more misquoting.
That's my challenge. And I want to say too, though, like, you see how we laugh at ourselves. Like, be patient with yourselves. Sometimes we see our challenges and we're like, oh my gosh, I'm a horrible person. I'm a horrible person. Kid, when she woke up, she's like, let me apologize. She didn't go through the day and be like, oh my gosh, I'm just a horrible person. Don't do that. Don't do that. Acknowledge it, forgive yourself, and love on yourself, and be kind to yourself. If your child was dealing with something, they'd be like, Mom, I accidentally broke the something, right? Something. I actually spilled the milk. It's like, are you going to harp on them and be like, oh my gosh, I can't wait. I can't believe. Wait, and if you are doing that, check yourself for that one.
Yeah.
I did that to my son. I had to check myself one day, and I watched my son. I had to check myself because I used to, because my dad used to do that to me. Like, okay, if I did something, I get yelled at. But my son dropped some milk one day, and this is during my time where I'm like, okay, I'm going through, like, speaking to him a little kinder because, yeah. And so he dropped the milk, and he instantly went to judgment and told himself how bad and wrong he was. And I realized that was a reflection of how I made him feel when he did stuff like that, when he made a mistake. And so I had to, and I had to see myself in that, right? And I had to check myself and then redirect him and say, son, this is a mistake. We all make mistakes, baby. It don't take nothing but to clean it up. I remember so angry with him when he would do stuff. You need to sit down. You need to be still. You always doing stuff. You always. And I saw the reflection of how he saw himself in that.
Yeah.
So do the same for yourself. Like, love on yourself and nurture yourself. We all make mistakes.
Yeah.
We all make mistakes. It's part of life. It's part of living. We all make choices that don't always work. And it's okay. Just go back to the drawing board.
Yep.
Yeah.
Always have to celebrate the small wins, reflect them, move forward from losses. Absolutely. And as usual, you take us into the segue of the next thing I have in my notes. So
transition. Look at that.
I mean, perfect. You said to be gentle with yourself, extend grace to yourself, right? And don't think that this is a quick fix or overnight change. It's not a quick fix. Like I said, a lot of us have been doing some of the things that we now recognize as challenges for 30 years, 40 years. It's not going to be a quick fix. It's not an overnight change. Do not sit up and beat yourself up. Do not sit up and speak negatively to yourself about yourself. Yes. You made a mistake. You get to move on. Here's the great thing. When I made the mistake last week with Marcus, I told you, I dealt with a moment of shame. And then when I felt that, I said, I made a mistake. This isn't something you do all the time. It's okay. He forgave you, but you need to forgive yourself first, right? You need to forgive yourself first and move forward. This is not your character. This ain't how you move in relationships. So it's okay. Forgive yourself and move on. And sometimes it can be the smallest things, and we will berate ourselves for the smallest of things.
Man, yes.
I'm not doing it no more. I'm not going to sit up and berate myself.
Right.
Here's the thing, and you said it. If you're not going to sit up and berate your kid, you shouldn't berate yourself. And if you are sitting up and berating your child, that's something to examine. It's something to look at, because that manifests into an adult who becomes an adult that does that to other people. And it reflects poorly in their relationships and their friendships and beyond. Yeah. So yeah, of course. First themselves, right? Thank you for pointing that out. First with yourself. And then secondly, it's the thing where sometimes we say, well, I can't have this type of relationship, or I can't do this certain type of thing. Even stop saying that about yourself. You can have a perfect relationship. You can have a great relationship. You do deserve love. You might have some challenges in these areas, but guess what? There's someone out there that's going to embrace you, love you, nurture you with your challenges. Be careful how you're speaking to yourself about yourself.
Yes.
Nurture those challenges. Don't sit up and speak negatively and beat yourself up about those challenges. This is an opportunity for growth. This is an opportunity for healing. This is an opportunity to empower yourself to say, look at where I was, and now look at where I am. So you can grow and shift. And
Right.
we oftentimes are not giving ourselves the credit that we need to give ourselves. I can assure you, there are friendships and relationships that it was my fault because of my behavior, because of my lack of whatever, understanding, listening, having a certain level of care. There are mistakes that I've made in the past with relationships and friendships.
Right.
And guess what? That's okay. I
Yes.
forgive myself. I give myself grace.
Yes.
But it's not okay to keep doing.
Right.
I had to learn, right? I had to learn, and I had to hold myself accountable and say, you had a great relationship with this person, but then what did you do? You sabotaged it, or you did this, or you did that, and that caused the demise of the relationship. Or you might have had a good friend, and because you were so impatient back then, and you didn't have, the patience to hold on and let them get through whatever season they were dealing with, this is why you're here.
Right.
But I've learned from those things. I've given myself grace. I've forgiven myself and said, you know what? I didn't know any better. Now that I know better,
Yep.
I have to do better.
Yes. Yes. Agreed. And that's the thing, is like, once you acknowledge it, and it's like, and know that you can change. You
Yep.
know, remember like little sayings, they're like, you can't teach your old dog new tricks. Yes, you can. And you're not an old dog. You can learn something new. You can learn something new. You can change behavior. You can change behavior. Things have. I always use this as an example. We just had COVID. The whole world changed after COVID. The whole world changed. So you can change. That it is possible. I promise you, it is possible. I promise you, it's possible. Just be patient with yourself.
You led into the final
What again?
segue again. I did not even send you my notes.
What?
I love it. I love it when we do this.
Hey.
My final note. Challenges have usually become habits. To change the habit, because you can change the habit, will require patience, grace, and understanding of yourself.
Yes.
You can change. It's possible. It's possible. Stop saying this is how I am.
Ooh.
Stop saying that if they don't accept me for this, that's just, well, I mean, they don't have to accept you for that.
They don't.
They don't. Just understand that your habits, your ways can become a hindrance to you having the type of relationships you may want to have.
Yeah.
That can be a hindrance for you. But you have free will. You can do whatever you want to do.
Right.
So Brianna says, I've had to let go of friends who apologize by blaming their bad behavior on their parents or grandparents. I can't even work with you if you can't take any accountability.
Man.
Absolutely.
Truth.
Absolutely.
True.
And that's a big thing. I released quite a few people like that. Like, so you telling me our entire friendship is going to be based on you talking about what your mama did and what your grandparents did and what your daddy did? And nope.
Right.
I'm not. I refuse. Don said, think, change, make change, act change. Yep. We all have the power to change. We're not stuck.
Right.
You're not stuck. Like, we're not action figures. We're not just stuck in this position.
Right.
We have the ability to learn new things, to adjust, to change, to grow, to release.
Right.
All of these things.
But if you don't want to. But if you don't want to, you don't have to. It's up to you. If you don't want to change, somebody go out there, go love you just the way you are. And you can have the most toxic
Maybe.
you want to have if you want to. It's up to you.
So when you start to think about your challenges, I'm going to make a suggestion that I often make. Journal. Just do it for 14 days, do it for 21 days. Just see by practicing with that habit, what comes out of that.
Yes.
See if there's a shift in how you feel and your behavior and what other people are saying about what they see reflected in you.
Yes.
Because the important thing is to know that you have the power and you have the ability to change.
Right.
Sometimes we feel like we're stuck. Like, you're not stuck. You don't have to stay that way.
You don't.
So
it's a
take
choice.
the opportunity. It's a choice.
It's definitely a choice. It's definitely a choice. Who somebody said, are the parents in the room with us?
So,
this is how I am. It's a cop out to change. Very close
yes.
approach and a big indicator of not wanting. Yes, and that's okay. If that's, and again, when somebody says that, this is just how I am. Bet. Thank you for telling me. No worries.
Decision.
That's now it's up to me. Exactly. Now it's up to me, because if I keep them around, now that's on me.
Yeah.
Okay. They didn't told you who they were. Listen, they didn't told you who they were. If they show you who you are, believe them. And
you heard that, Floyd? You heard that, Floyd?
Now it's up to you to make the decision.
Yeah.
Hold on to that or let it go. It's up to you. But don't get mad because they're doing exactly what they said they're doing themselves.
As a former, that's how I am. That's just how I am. Nothing good comes from that.
Mm-hmm.
People will piece you out. Because you're not the only one that gets to make a choice here. They get to make a choice also if they want that type of energy and behavior in their lives.
That's it. That's
simple. I still got to be who I am for many years.
Mm-hmm.
I had people that accepted it, and I had people that leave them where they are, huh, Floyd?
He said, I heard it.
Leave them where they are.
That's right.
And also, before we close out, I want to say this. This is really piggybacking off of something that we already said, but I think this is so essential, and we don't really understand how essential it is. And Shamika said it. You don't take the time to truly examine the people around you, the people you're connected to. If you have a fast forward evolving mindset, you're dealing with people that are stagnant, that don't have evolving mindsets and that are not doing anything, they're going to be a challenge for you.
Right.
I can assure you, because I was the person that was like, well, it don't matter to me if they ain't doing this. No, it does matter, because what happens is when we don't become aligned, because you going over there and I'm going over here, that causes friction. It causes confusion because we're not going in the same direction. Here's the problem. When you see that the different direction is beef, here's the problem. When you see that the different direction is them saying they're better than you, here's the problem. When you see that you going down the yellow brick road and I'm going down the gold brick road, when you see it as who do they think they are? None of those things. And we have to have the emotional intelligence and awareness to allow people to filter through and filter out.
Yes.
Everybody doesn't have to stay with you And just because they go in that direction doesn't mean that, you know, they rejected you.
Right.
And so don't let that be a challenge for you, because it's going to be a hindrance for you.
Right.
If that is your focus, if you become the victim to those circumstances,
Right.
you're going to constantly not be in position to grow, to evolve, to heal, to get the benefit. See, you're so busy concentrating on the fact that you guys went in different directions that you're not concentrating on what you learned from them. You're not
Right.
concentrating on the beautiful memories that you all shared. You can't concentrate on all the positive things because you completely went in your head about things that don't even exist. Don't let that be a challenge for you,
Yes.
because people are going to come and people are going to go.
And they not all part of your journey, or they or some. It's not even that, because people that come into your life are part of your journey, but it just depends how much.
How long?
Right. They might just have been for that. Right. That's
Yeah.
okay. That's all right. You know. Yes.
Yeah, that's a big thing, and I've dealt with that personally a lot lately, and I know that a lot of people struggle with that becomes a challenge for people, with allowing people to just move through.
Right.
Allow people to just move through. This life is fluid.
Yes. And sometimes people have that hard time because again something that you might need to work on, maybe a challenge, is that because we don't want to let people go because we want to hold on to people, you know. And sometimes you need to work through that abandonment issue. Right? Because not everything you hold on to is healthy, and so you have to take yourself into consideration. Is this healthy for me? Is this healthy for me? I do require healthy relationships. I deserve a healthy relationship. I do deserve love. I do deserve peace in my life and in my relationships. I don't need all the trauma. It's okay.
Yeah.
You can let this go. Yeah, it's okay. Let it go.
And then you're going to feel better too.
And you
want to feel better.
And you open the door for healthier to show up.
Yes.
Open the door for healthier to show up. Once you let go of the trash, take out the trash, you can bring in some new stuff.
And sometimes taking out the trash means taking out some of your own challenges first before you start talking about throwing away this person, throwing away that person, releasing this person, releasing that person. Sometimes the trash is some of our own bad behavior.
Yes.
So we probably, that's a challenge for us sometimes.
Right.
We go straight to the external, the other people, when we need to be starting with the internal, with us, right?
Initiating something healthy. Am I initiating something healthy in this relationship? Who am
I in relationships? Who am I in friendships? Who am I in a relationship? But a lot of times the cop out is, they did this to me and they did that to me. And if you're the person that's saying that, you don't have to raise your hand. You don't even have to comment. Me and Shamika, we did our due diligence tonight by telling our own business, right? So here's the thing. Think about that. Deal with it on an internal basis. Even for those that come back and watch the replay, sit with it on your own. If this is something that you have been challenged with, where you're always looking at the other people, they did this, they did that, Did you start with yourself first?
What was my part in this? What could I have done better in this situation? Was I the issue this time?
I just had to tell myself, you know what? You literally complained about something that your spirit told you not to do.
Ooh.
Your spirit told you not to do that. You did it anyway. So is it them or is it you? It's still them a little bit, but
just a little bit, not a lot. Just a
But
little bit.
but my spirit, when you don't listen to yourself first, and we talked about this before, trusting yourself first. Yourself first before you trust anybody else.
Yes.
These challenges are going to come up often,
Yep.
less often,
Yep.
regularly. Depends on what season of life you're in, and that's okay. Extend grace to yourself, forgive yourself, be soft and gentle with yourself.
Yes.
You deserve that. I
Yes.
mean, can you imagine you being the little kid that you're talking to?
Hmm.
Can you imagine you being the little kid you're talking to?
Hmm.
Would you consider doing it differently then?
Right.
So, boom.
Time is up.
Time is up. And as always, we will end in love and peace.
Yes.
Shamika, take us away.
Yes. Let's do 2 deep breaths. Breathe in. Oh, I was supposed to count. Hold on. Do that again. Don't breathe yet. Stop breathing. Stop breathing. Okay.
I'm not in the right energy for this right now. You're screamed at me.
Stop. Don't breathe no more. Okay. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold it. Now breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thank you guys for showing up. Thank you for showing up for yourself. Thank you guys for dealing with us. And be patient with yourself, because all of life comes to us with ease and joy and glory. What else is possible, and how does it get any better than that?
Yes.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
Okay, you guys, thanks for tuning in with us on yet another Tuesday. We can't wait to see you guys in April. I got some great topics coming up. It's Poetry Month in April, y'all. It's Poetry Month in April.
I've read
Me,
poetry.
Floyd, Don. Yeah. I got some stuff cooked up for us.
Yay.
Thanks, Don. Don said another great episode. So I got some stuff cooking up for us. If you guys can be on standby for me in April, I would love it for Poetry Month, National Poetry Month. So as always, peace out, y'all.
Mwah.